Hi, this is Wani at CDWanny on YouTube. My actual name is Chris, and I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're looking for humor and adventure told in story form, this is the right place because those are the stories I tell. And today's story, it kind of involves me lighting a bomb, and I wasn't there when the bomb went off, but I'm sure the bomb went off. But it was kind of a cute, funny story that I enjoyed this for the life of me. It was one of the funnest things that ever happened. But anyway, let me get on with my pitch. If you enjoy this channel, be sure and hit the subscribe button. Give that like button a little tickle if you enjoy my stories, and be sure and hit the bell if you want to be notified when new stories come out. If you got stories of your own that you would like me to tell, be sure and email them to me at cdwanny@yahoo.com, and I'll put your stories up here and we can all get a laugh together, and I would love to hear your guys' stories. But anyway, let's get on with our story. So we were camping here in the Pacific Northwest at a campground. The campground, it serviced everybody, RVs, tents, had a dog park, a swimming pool. You know, it was this isn't remote camping or roughing it by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's just where families go to get away for the weekend. Me and Squirrel would go out kayaking or hiking or riding our bikes, whatever. We had our dogs with us, and they would go everywhere with us. And we were walking along one day, and there was this kid come up beside us, and he asked if he could pet our dogs. And this kid was just one of the nicest, most politest kids you could ever hope to be around. He was just very nice in every way, and he talked about how he didn't have a dog. His dog either, I can't remember, it's been a while, but his dog ran away, got hit by a car or something. It was a sad story. And his parents wouldn't let him get another dog. And so he has this really strong attachment to dogs, but he just can't have one. And he asked if he could walk my dog. And I said, absolutely, you know. So we stopped at this park, and I gave him the leash, and off he took off. And he walked down the pool and around. He comes back about 20 minutes, half hour later. Big smile on his face, and the dog is having fun. And you can tell the two of them just together had a great time. And me and the Squirrel went back to our camp, and we were, you know, just kind of hanging out. And at least, you know, twice a day, Trevor would come up to our camp, and he'd say, hey, can I walk your dog? And he'd go walk the dog, and same thing, man. They hit it off, and they had a great time together. And he'd come back and pet both the dogs, and he never took the same dog for a walk in a row because he didn't want one to feel favored over the other. This kid was just a wonderful little kid. And we were down in the dog park one day sitting on this picnic table just letting the dogs go, and you know, he was telling about how he grew up and where he grew up, and you know, he seemed to have, you know, a very typical pleasant childhood. You know, he went to school. He said he got okay grades. He said he got mostly B's and blah blah blah. And it was starting to get dark, and Trevor looks at me and he goes, are there any bears around here? And Squirrel looks at me, and she's shaking her head because she can see the wheels turning in my head. And she goes, don't you scare this poor little kid. You know, he's being nice. You be nice back. And I said, no, Trevor, there's bears in the Pacific Northwest, but you get a campground like this many people, this much noise going on, they're going to avoid it for miles. He goes, what about cougars? And I said, cougars are even worse than bears. They're going to stay even farther away. They don't like the noise and rambunctious people, dogs barking. They stay away from that. He goes, what about wolves? And I go, no, there haven't been any wolves in the Northwest in a long time. He goes, what about coyotes? And I said, well, coyotes, that's a different story. You can hear coyotes, you know, tonight, you know, just stick your head out the tent and listen. You can hear them, you know, howling off in the distance. And, you know, they're just talking to each other. And he goes, do they ever come into the camp? I go, yeah, you'll see one in the campgrounds every so often. You know, they're kind of timid. They'll come rooting around through campgrounds. And, well, he started to get real worried about these coyotes. And I got to admit that I didn't do a whole lot to assuage his fears. But he was getting real concerned about it. And he was like, well, what can I do to keep these coyotes away? Okay, I got to stop for a minute because I had walked by Trevor's campground and I seen his family there, and they were tent campers. They had about 3 tents set up, and there was the mother, the father. I think he had a sister, and there might have been an uncle and an aunt and their kids there too. And so I kind of knew what his camping situation was. And so he's asking me now. He goes, "Is there any way to keep the coyotes away?" And I said, "Well, there's one thing that coyotes do not like at all. Coyotes hate the smell of human urine. And my daddy taught me that when I was little, just to pee all the way around the tent. And then coyotes won't cross that smell of urine, and the coyotes will stay away." There, I lit the bomb. I don't know whatever happened. But he took off for his tent, his camp, and I didn't see him again after that. I think he was leaving the next day. But as worried as he was about coyotes, I can't imagine he didn't try it. You know, that he would go out, and so I could just see this little kid walking around, peeing around his tent, and his dad going, "What are you doing?" And I half expected, you know, that night or the next day to have some adult come traipsing into my campground wanting to punch me out for telling this kid to pee around their tents. I don't know what happened, but we can all use our imagination. But that's our story for today, so be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to be notified. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.